Everyone loves animals, and we are all fairly familiar with the normal size of most of them. And while most of them are average size for their species, there are other animals so large that it's almost hard to believe until you actually see them. From giant workhorses to snakes that can easily eat a full-grown man whole, we present to you 10 abnormally large animals. Lincoln the Black Shire. Shire horses are a breed of draft horse that is bred for doing heavy work because of their immense size and stature. And that is probably what Britain's tallest horse was doing before he was rescued. And by rescued, we mean that this horse was badly abused by its original owners, starving, and was in such bad shape that it was headed to a meat factory. That is when James Mackey, who is the boss of a fruit and vegetable company, decided to step in and save this beautiful horse. After James carefully nursed him back to health, Lincoln now stands at more than 20 hands or 6 feet 6 inches from shoulder blades to hoof, and is thought to be the biggest horse in Britain, and could be possibly the biggest horse in Europe. And he's not done growing yet. Lincoln eats 24 apples, 20 carrots, 11 pounds of spinach, and 5 cabbages daily, which, by the way, if James didn't own the fruit and vegetable company, would cost him $40 a day, or about $15,000 a year. Lincoln lives a life of luxury at Tannock Stables in Cumbernauld, where his owners look after him and his huge appetite. Darius the Rabbit. This rabbit is probably the largest one you will ever see. Darius is the world's largest rabbit who measures 4 feet 4 inches long and weighs a whopping 50 pounds and is officially the world's largest rabbit. Darius eats about 2,000 carrots and 700 apples on top of their daily bowl of specialist rabbit food and a weekly bale of hay each year. And it costs about $6,000 to feed this rabbit every year. So why is Darius so big? Darius is a continental giant, which is the largest breed of rabbit in the world. Continental giants are the largest breed of rabbit and can grow to around 4 feet when fully grown, or in Darius's case, he's grown as big as a dog. Blossom the cow is a 6'4" cow that is officially recognized as the tallest cow by Guinness World Records. The average weight for a mature Holstein cow is 1,500 pounds, and top-producing Holsteins have been known to produce more than 72,000 pounds of milk in a year when milked 3 times a day. But Blossom was heavier than the average cow, weighing a massive 2,000 pounds. The female Holstein was born to 2 normal-sized cows, and the animal's continued growth led her owners to have Blossom's height checked out by Guinness World Records. Sadly, the giant Holstein died May 26 at the age of 13, after suffering an irreparable leg injury. But Guinness World Records said that the 13-year-old female Holstein will live on in the record books as the world's tallest cow ever. Giant oarfish. Oarfish live in deep water and are rarely seen at the surface, though they are thought to be the inspiration for sea serpent tales of old. Giant oarfish are the biggest of the bony fish, which have bone as opposed to cartilage skeletons. In fact, they are one of the longest known living species. They can reach a length of 56 feet long, about 17 meters long, and weigh 600 pounds. These giant fish might look frightening, but they only eat tiny plankton and aren't dangerous. They don't even have real teeth. Instead, they have flimsier structures called gill rakers to catch tiny organisms. This giant fish usually lives at a depth of around 600 feet or 200 meters, although they have been known to go as deep as 3,000 feet or 1,000 meters. Another interesting fact is that the giant oarfish tastes like gelatinous goo. People have tried eating them, but their flesh is flabby and gooey. Nomura's jellyfish is a plus-sized gargantuan grazer that spends most of its life adrift in the Yellow and East China Seas. Starting life as a pinhead-sized polyp, this peripatetic monster mushrooms rapidly in less than a year to 2 meters or a massive 6 feet in diameter and more than 200 kilograms or about 440 pounds in weight. To fuel this extraordinary growth, which is a 10% increase in size per day, the juvenile jellyfish feed on tiny plankton particles through a mouth which measures just a millimeter or 3/64 of an inch across. The ravenous appetite of the burgeoning jellyfish cannot be satisfied by one tiny mouth, however. So as the invertebrate grows, it develops more mouths of the same size beneath its umbrella-shaped bell. Just imagine being underneath one of these creepy giants in the water. It would be able to cover a full-grown human body. The giant pink slug is a brightly colored red slug that lives exclusively in Australia on Mount Capitar. At their largest, they can reach a whopping 8 inches or about 20 centimeters long. No one knows why this giant slug has a hot red color. It could be that they live in trees of red eucalyptus leaves and they evolved to blend in with the trees. Or it could simply be some quirk of evolution. These slugs spend most of their time buried beneath the leaf mold on which they feed, but they're known to come out in the hundreds by night or after a rain shower to snack on tree moss. As far as it comes to slugs, these are the largest known slugs on the planet. Mekong catfish. This giant catfish inhabits the waters of the Mekong River in China, which flows southward into Southeast Asia. The giant catfish is an enormous fish with thin downturned lips that give it a lonely look. In Thailand, it is known as plabuk, which means huge fish, because the size of these catfish is impressive, to say the least, with some growing as big as 10 feet or 6 meters long and weigh up to 660 pounds, that's 300 kilograms. As big as the giant Mekong catfish can get, there are rumored to be other species of freshwater fish whose dimensions rival those of the Mekong catfish. Big Jake horse. Big Jake the Belgian gelding horse has earned worldwide fame for his extraordinary height. The 15-year-old Guinness World Records title holder measures just under 6 feet 11 inches and weighs around 2,600 pounds. Jake was big right from the start. He weighed 240 pounds at birth, about 50 pounds more than is typical for his breed, and he just kept getting bigger. Jake is living large, literally speaking. His stall is 20 by 20. He travels in a semi-trailer and he eats 1.5 bales of hay and 40 quarts of oats per day. The Chinese giant salamander is the largest salamander and the largest amphibian in the world, reaching a length of 180 centimeters. That's about 5 feet 9 inches long. And it can weigh up to 100 pounds, although it rarely reaches that size today. The Chinese giant salamander is fully aquatic but lacks gills, instead absorbing oxygen through its wrinkled porous skin. With its really tiny eyes, it has to rely on smell and touch to find its prey. In 2015, a Chinese giant salamander was discovered outside a cave and was 4.5 feet long and weighed 104 pounds. Some experts believe that this creature was at least 200 years old. The world's largest snake was caught in Malaysia and measured 55 feet long and was a reticulated boa constrictor. That is a 16.7 meter long monster that weighed 300 kilograms. Those who found the snake were probably not happy it was alive. A bulldozer operator was moving earth and accidentally killed the beast as he was trying to dig up a large mound of earth. The worker was so scared and shocked by the blood and the fact that the snake was so huge that he suffered a heart attack on the way to the hospital and passed away later that evening. And while we're on stories of giant snakes, in the spring of 2017, an Indonesian farmer went missing and was later found inside a 23-foot-long python. A truly terrifying story.